GNOMES, which appears in a book of nymphs, sylphs, pygmies, and salamanders, and on the other spirits by Paracelsus, published posthumously in Nisa in 1566, and again in the Johannes Huser edition of 1589 through 1591 from an autograph by Paracelsus. So the term may have been an original invention by this dude, possibly deriving the term from the Latin GNOMES, itself representing a Greek word approximately gnomos, literally earth dweller, that maybe he just kind of dropped the E out of it and just created nomos to be like a truncated version of that. So the widely held idea is that this dude just made them up.
Was this dude Italian?
This dude was something. I believe he was Italian, yes. It does appear he was Italian, yes.
Okay, just because it seems that most of the famous stuff out of the Renaissance came from Italy.
Yes, yeah.
For some reason.
Big guy in the Renaissance magic scene, basically. Yeah, in Italy.
That's interesting. I wonder why Italy specifically.
Actually, Italy specifically because of the cultural significance that the Romans played to the area.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. Yes, that makes sense.
So there was a lot of... The Enlightenment kind of hit there hard in the Mediterranean. And it wasn't just in Italy. It was also in Germany. It was a lot of the big city centers where things just started getting a little more cool, a little more groovy, a little less authoritarian, and the church started having a little bit less of a hold on the area where people were able to, wash their hands.
Well, part of the Renaissance coming about, or perhaps... Well, before that was the Enlightenment, yeah?
The Enlightenment was the direct start of the... the Enlightenment is kind of terminology for...
Well,
like the start of the pre-modern era. But yes, there was an Enlightenment that led us from the Dark Ages to the Renaissance, more or less.
Right, yeah.
Yes.
And so what I was getting at was the invention of the press.
The printing press did play a big part in that, but that actually happened later on into the Renaissance. That was what led people to be able to understand common-held scientific and religious thought in a larger bandwidth than just from what smart people or church people were telling them.
It allowed... Well, that's why that, that kind of comes into play. Because
yes, absolutely.
Because it allowed for learning.
Yep, you are absolutely 100% correct.
Which... Right. At that point, then, then you get wars.
Yeah.
But anyway...
But yeah, so basically the modern spelling, the omission of the E is referred to as a blunder by the Oxford English Dictionary. So basically, when the E in GNOMES instead of GNOMES, now it's nomos, and then gnome comes from that.
Well, the K is silent.
It's a G.
Or yes, that's exactly what it is. A G. Well, I guess gnome, like known.
Yeah, I
sort of in my head.
I know where you were coming from, though. That was really funny.
The K is silent.
Paracelsus uses nomi as a synonym of a pygmy and classifies them as earth elementals in alchemical thought. He describes them as 2 spans high, was very reluctant to interact with humans, and able to move through solid earth as easily as humans move through air. So they basically just walk through solid stone and dirt instead of like digging and everything like in modern ideas. Like his idea was they just kind of phase through it. Like that was their home element where they could just kind of move through it.
This reminds me of a Star Trek episode. The original Star Trek. There was this thing, they didn't have much money making this show, so it looked like they just threw a carpet over somebody, and he just kind of walked like this. And this monster thing...
What do you walk like, Baxter?
Was just kind of like this, but with a carpet over you, just like a burlap sack. And so anyway, this thing...
Sounds like a good Saturday evening after a bit of drinking there, is it?
So this thing can walk through rock.
Yes.
Same idea, as easily as people walk through air.
Yes.
And then at one point, Spock puts his hands on it, in order to read it, and Spock goes, "Ah, pain." That was really funny.
Hell yeah.
Well, that was when Star Trek was good. But
Yes.
anyway, and that's as little of Star Trek as I've really seen. Anyway, that's the original series. This is the best one. Maybe not. I don't know. We're not talking about Star Trek. We're talking about gnomes.